once we're live here. Okay. Hello. I'm here with my friend Heather, who I feel like incredibly blessed that she's joining us today because Heather and I go super, super, super way
Like
back.
10 years, Raywin.
Like the entirety of being business owners, I feel like.
I met you in 2016 and it's 2026.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It's so crazy to me. So it has been amazing watching you just completely build your business from like when we were I was doing VA, you were doing Balanced Mama Co.
I was mom blogging and then I was very good memory. I was doing mom blogging, virtual assistant work, and then eventually I landed on Pinterest.
Eventually landed on Pinterest. That's what it was. Yeah, I was like, what email address do I even have for Heather? And I definitely had your old email address. Oh, apparently my Facebook is not sharing to mine either. It's only sharing to me on Facebook. So
Only you.
only me. I cannot change the permission. Oh my Lanta. I wonder if I can edit it here. I can remove Facebook from this stream. This is what I get for trying to be fancy pantsy.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh. This stream is already live. A post was created. Okay, well, let's see. Maybe can I add Facebook after the fact? Let's see. We'll just mess around for 2.5 seconds. And if this doesn't work, then we're going to just say we're good with all the other platforms.
We are. We can be.
We can be. I just know that like a lot of the women in publishing women are on our Facebook group and they would love to like watch it on Facebook because, you know, I'm always trying to get them on Instagram, but they don't all make it onto Instagram, but they have tons of questions on Pinterest. So that is, oh, okay. I think I did it. Save changes. Let's see. Yeah. So how this all stemmed, actually, I don't know how much I fully told you, but I just ran a social media intensive for authors where we went like into a deep dive of just which platform they should be on based on who their target audience is. And apparently I shared some random freebies. Okay, anyway. So they wanted to know where would be best for them, and they didn't want to figure out too much of what they need to figure out to be on social media, right? But we found out when we were doing our research that a lot of our audience, especially for our authors that write more midlife and menopausal women stuff, the audience is on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't use Pinterest. Heather's my Pinterest person. Like anytime I do anything on Pinterest, it is with Heather, you know? Yeah. So I was like, I gotta see if she'll let me do a live. So I am just absolutely overjoyed that you agreed and that you're willing to put up part of your evening in the Netherlands for this. Do you want to do like a little introduction so that people know more about you?
Yeah, so I've been doing Pinterest marketing for 9 going on 10 years now. I started very, very briefly doing a mom blog, and quickly realized that I was actually better at doing the other side of the business rather than sharing my life. I'm not really a huge fan of sharing my life on social media. I don't really like social media, even though I'm addicted to it. And started doing Pinterest marketing for some of our mutual colleagues at the time. And that kind of just blossomed and grew into what I'm doing now. So I have clients that I run accounts for I have students that I teach. I've got hundreds of students in a low cost membership group. I'm on YouTube. I do YouTube
I saw your
mostly every week, but not like lately it's not been as scheduled as I usually am. I blame that on living here. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. A couple years ago, I did speak at a conference for authors specifically.
Oh,
That's kind of where a lot of people started finding me in the author space.
okay.
I like to
Okay.
do like Pinterest for like very specific groups and like deep dive into those niches and figure out like what are people doing here? How can we make this better? And a lot of authors are just unsure about what Pinterest is all about. Don't
Yes.
know where to start.
Yes. That's
Like most other
exactly.
business owners, they don't know what to do. And the author space is a little bit unique because you're writing books to sell and you're not generally writing a free content like blog.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I feel like the questions that I have are pretty like general and overarching. But I definitely wanted to at least connect people with you so that if they needed to
Yeah.
outsource it because they were like, wow, I know my audience is on Pinterest now, but there's no way I'm figuring that out. So if you want to like put your link, I'll share it
Sure.
somehow. But then we can get started with
Probably just my
the
website,
questions.
honestly.
Yeah. That's what I put on Instagram because it told me I could have a link. So there's definitely a link that says get Pinterest support and it is
Yeah.
to your website. Oh, look,
Probably that's
Alexa said hi.
Hi, Alexa. It's been a long time since I've heard from her. Alexa, I think, edited Sam's book.
Yes. Sam's book, Tanya's book. Or not, maybe not edited, but helped publish.
Possibly.
I don't
It's
know.
been a long time.
Yes. Well, I know that she did the intentional bookshelf with Sam, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That was, I think, right before I started working for Alexa. All right. So, questions. Okay. I'm trying to think of like in a linear way. Let's see. I'm like,
There's no need to stay in order. I'm not
okay.
going to
Okay.
when it comes to answering.
So we'll start with my first and most burning question is
Okay.
like in 2026, what is the deal with like boards? Are group boards still a thing? Like how are we doing our sharing of our pins?
Okay,
Because I think that is like probably the one part that's kind of stopped me from continuing to use Pinterest.
honestly, the fundamentals of Pinterest really have not changed. So,
Okay.
keyword strategy, boards, creating pins, all of that stuff is still very much the same.
Okay.
Boards are definitely crucial to reach and getting your pins indexed properly. Where a lot of Pinterest experts will spend their time is more on the creative and the graphics and making things look pretty. And where I spend all of my time is in data and analytics. And data and analytics tell me that Pinterest boards are important. So you want to start by creating Pinterest boards. And this is kind of where authors also were like diverging from traditional advice. Yay! Authors want to start by creating boards by default that are like their pin names and things like that. I would urge you against doing that in the beginning, and I would urge you more towards creating boards that are niche specific. What's your writing style? What's your, setting? What kind of book category do you sit inside of? Start with those things first. So if you're writing romantasy, then create a group of boards along that and look for the keywords on Pinterest that support that. If you're writing for midlife women in menopause or perimenopause, then you're going to have boards that are like midlife women in perimenopause, midlife women in menopause. Those are your board titles. And then you'll begin backfilling that board with Pinterest pins that are your book or your other body of work, which Substack is becoming popular among authors these days. You can populate Substack articles, or if you have your own website with a blog, like if you are a unicorn writer and you do that, you can put those things on those boards. But boards are very important. And group boards was your part of your question. Group boards are still a thing, but you want to be careful with how you go about using group boards. You don't want to join every group board possible. You don't want to join group boards that don't have anything to do with your niche. So if you're writing midlife women in perimenopause, you're probably not joining boards about baking. So
that makes a lot of sense. So what if you're writing, okay, say you're writing like spicy romance, but the characters are more midlife, perimenopause, or post-menopause women. And so would you want to be creating and sharing other pins that have to do with like midlife in that, or are you only sharing about your book stuff? Like, are we pinning other people's stuff?
Okay, like, that's the root question that you were going to ask is, are we pinning other people's stuff? And the answer is you don't have to.
Okay.
You can very much start by just pinning your own stuff. Now, you can curate boards that are on niche topics that do support your book. So if you are an author, then chances are you could create a board about reading nooks and like creating a library at home. That wouldn't be so far off the beaten path. But I'm probably, if I'm writing romantasy novels, I'm probably not pinning pins that are health related to perimenopause. Okay. Now, if there are pins that are more lifestyle, maybe, but I generally give people the advice to just stay on topic to get started, because then you're going to get confused about what you can and can't pin. And I'd rather you just focus on your own work to start.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, and you kind of answered another question that I had where I said, like, I was wondering what type of content. So a lot of times when I'm talking to our authors about what to share on Instagram, and Casey's talking about TikTok, and you know, we all have all of our areas, and I'm definitely going to start getting more into Pinterest. So we always come with the idea of like, you want to be sharing and inviting people into your world. So it's not just like, buy my book. And it's not, sorry, this baby is just like, I mean, she's not even a baby anymore, but you know, so yeah, it's like inviting them into your world, giving them little teasers about your book, your characters. So is that like that content universal? Definitely that's what they should be doing on Pinterest to invite people in.
Yeah, they can do that as well. In fact, I think a lot of book talk authors specifically create content that is a really good fit for Pinterest. The kind of behind the scenes, the character development type stuff. Even like, you know, choosing book covers and like showing your computer screen and like going behind the scenes of like what the work looks like in action can also like help bring people in. But then when it comes to like promoting a final book and like, okay, now we're publishing and now it's going out and people need to buy it, creating content where, you know, you show the book on the bookshelf or you show yourself signing books.
Okay.
If you're at an event, you can create some B-roll like that. So that's kind of like bringing people in that way. Now, that's not like the only ways that you can go about doing it. You can definitely do so many things. You could create B-roll of just your books and you're lighting a candle.
Oh yeah, that's we always talk about like the B-roll, especially because so many authors are introverted and they don't want to be on screen themselves. Yes. So with
if you're like writing under a pen name and you're writing really steamy books, like
right? Like, I'm sorry, I don't want my kids to find this. So if on like Pinterest, you're like, should you do boards that are like eat for each character maybe and like have like their, I don't know, like
I've seen a lot of authors do that.
style there, like so that it's kind of, is that like the fun
I
type of
don't
extra stuff, or do you think that that's just too much extra?
I don't know how well it works. I see a lot of
Okay.
authors doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know how well it works because I've not been behind the scenes of an author who is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the ones that I have seen drive traffic are using a mix of like they created a series of maybe like freebies or like a free chapter or something that they give away for an email address and it drops them into a book funnel. I've seen them create content like that, and then I've seen them obviously promote books, and
Mm-hmm.
those do really well. A recent author I was working with was creating a series of handwritten letters that they were sending out. Now they were handwritten and then they make copies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This like a new thing in this space, I guess, of like snail mail. And that gives them like a new entry point for readers into their books. There's just so many different ways you can go about it. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think the place to start is, especially with boards and pins, is like, let's think about your readers. How are they looking for your books? What are they looking for specifically related to your niche of what you're writing in, your book category, and like really starting there and then expanding out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people wasting a ton of time on things that aren't going to drive conversions. So if you do try something out, let's trial it for like 90 days, see what happens as far as engagement. Now, in the first 90 days, you might not get anything. It might not be until the
Mm-hmm.
second 90 days that you start seeing some traction. But data is what's going to tell us what to continue doing. So give it a try. Don't try it for one day and stop. Try it over
Yeah.
time.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So, on that note, how should they optimize their pins that they're creating? Like, is it necessarily graphically? I know you said a lot of like B-roll, so that's kind of the type of
Yeah.
like content they can use across platforms. So that's really great. But like with their with like their captions, is it called captions or descriptions, right? Pin descriptions, all of that. How should they optimize that?
So the same way that anyone else would optimize theirs, your graphics might be slightly different. If you're creating a set of Pinterest pins for a set of books that you're promoting, it could literally be the books on the shelf and that's the image. And then if you have text on the actual pin itself, that can vary based on what kind of copy you're writing. I like to tell people to create pins for traffic and pins for saves.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic pins are going to be pins in formats, and this is on a very like short notice. I don't have hard examples for you.
That's
Um,
okay.
but traffic pins are probably going to be pins with the books and like read this book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Save pins are probably going to be more of those like character focused pins where we're talking about like a character arc or something like that, or we're kind of introducing the topic or this new book in a series. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's a wait list for it right now and it's not out. Those are save first pins. Those are pins that people
Mm-hmm.
aren't going to be able to convert on right now, even if they wanted to, but they're also later on going to be pins that drive that save engagement that
Okay.
trigger people to come back to it later. So I know a lot of people that are really into reading are probably keeping a to be read pile,
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
whether digitally or physically, they're keeping a TBR. So you could have like a TBR board on Pinterest, and let's say it's a
Mhm.
romantasy TBR, to be read. Those can also be saved first pins. So you could create a collage of your books on a pin, and
Mhm.
it could be like shop the collection. And then if it's like a gift, so let's say you're giving these as a gift for Christmas or something, then it could be like gifts for
That makes sense. That
friends who
makes a
write
lot of sense. Oh my gosh.
romantic books. So things like that.
Okay. Okay. And like keywords. are in
So
our pin description,
as
right?
far as the optimizations on the actual pin, you have title, description, obviously the link, the content on the landing page, the link that you use needs to match what's in the pin. So
Mm-hmm.
the words or the images at a minimum need to match what's on that page. Now, not exactly and not word for word, but like on topic. So you're not linking to a book that's a romantasy and then the Pinterest pin is actually like dark thriller.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
make sure you keep things in line. Now your title is 100 characters. I would say use at least one 3 to 5 long, like word long keyword phrase and write a nice title around it. You can
okay.
write a 2-part title with a colon in the middle if you want to. You can write one long title.
Mhm.
And then your description is up to 800 characters. Depends on what platform you're using to schedule.
Okay.
Metricool has not updated their platform to be 800 characters yet. I'm not sure about Planoly later, all of those. I know Tailwind is in line with the new updates and
Mhm.
Pinterest allows 800 characters. What I tell people is one keyword per sentence. So if you can get 8 sentences, you're using 8 keywords. Your
Okay.
writers, you're
Yeah.
probably going to be long winded. So maybe you only get 4 keywords in there. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, that makes so much sense. So basically, definitely, they should be sharing links to their website. So they should, at minimum, have a website page that has their books on it
I
and
would.
links if they're not selling their book personally, but that website page links to Amazon.
Yes. And Amazon recently updated their affiliate thing.
Mhm.
I don't know what it's called anymore, but you can connect Pinterest to Amazon and like set it up together. So
Okay.
you add your Pinterest link in your Amazon
Mhm.
backend, and you can basically then it like the two talk to each other, and then like Amazon knows that this is an approved platform to be sharing pins on.
Okay, good.
I don't know how that works in reality because I am not
Yeah.
starting an Amazon thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm just not doing it. But you can link to your Amazon page. If you have
Okay.
an Amazon storefront, you can link to that. If you want to link to your author page, you can do that. You obviously should also then claim your website, even if it's a 1-page website,
Mhm.
even if that 1-page website is hosted on Canva. You
Well,
should
yeah,
figure that out and you
yeah.
should have your website figured out. Now, if you're 1-page hosting on Canva, chances are the only way you're going to be able to claim the Pinterest account is through your domain name host.
Mhm.
And
That
that's
makes
super
sense.
simple to do. Actually, I have a
Yeah.
whole article on how to do that on my website.
Oh, cool. Okay, so everyone can go to your website for that,
Mhm.
but I want to make sure everybody who's watching also knows that having your own website on your own hosting is absolutely key,
Yeah,
especially because of generative engine optimization, which
yeah.
Alexa has been teaching about in the last few weeks and is going to be doing at our marketing boot camp. So, if you guys are like websites, that's definitely something you need to learn about. Okay, so my next question that I had from our audience is how often do they need to be on Pinterest? Like, is
Mm.
it like Instagram and TikTok where you need to be posting consistently, engaging with other people's stuff? Or is it because it's not social media and it's more a search engine, is it that you can, sit down and do a block once a month
Yes.
and yeah?
Yes. The last thing that you said. You don't need to be on there every day. You don't need to physically go on the website and do anything every day. I only work on client accounts a couple times a month. And I'm rarely on the front end of their Pinterest account. It's normally in the scheduling tool that I use.
Fabulous.
So,
Okay.
yeah, you can definitely sit down and do a batch. Now, a common question that I normally get is how many pins a day? And then I
Mhm.
always ask, because I always answer a question with the question when it comes to this kind of thing, is how many quality pins per day can you put out? because there's no right or wrong here.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
you can start with one a day, then just know that it's going to take you a lot longer to get seen. But one a day is better than none a day.
Yeah. Consistency is definitely key. That was actually my next question is what helps you to get your pins seen? Is it just like what you put in those keyword descriptions and the consistency on posting, or is it using Tailwind tribes? Do those still exist?
Yes and no. They do have communities, but they have a different thing now called Turbo. You don't need to use those things to get your pins seen. It could maybe help, but I think in the beginning, just doing the work, like writing a book takes a long time. It takes a long time to birth a book baby. I've not written one myself, but I've known people who have written books. And there's a lot of work that goes into that. So the same thing on Pinterest. I want you to have the same mindset on Pinterest. This is not a platform that's going to pop off overnight unless you're just really lucky. This is one of those really slow burn situations. So you're going to start by just doing your keyword research in the trends tool if possible, in the ads manager second, in the search bar third. Tailwind for free has the keyword planner, so you can log in and use their keyword planner, which is actually connected directly into Pinterest's API, and it gives you search volume. That's the only keyword tool I would recommend. Don't pay for any other keyword tools that tell you they're going to give you Pinterest keywords. No need when you can do it for free. And you're really just going to start diversifying your Pinterest pins, your Pinterest boards. Look at each book and figure out, okay, my audience is this, they're searching for this, the topics related to this or this. And then kind of expand your Pinterest pins out over time. You're going to end up creating hundreds of entry points into one book, and that's great.
Okay.
It's not repetitive. It's building over time, and you're going to do that with multiple search terms, and you're really going to expand out the opportunity to be found.
Okay, so my last question, because I really don't want to keep you super long, is if you have created one pin, say, and it's one that can go kind of on multiple boards, like a TBR board and a gifts board, and do you repin your own pin onto those other boards as well?
You can. I really don't do this anymore. There is one client that I do this for currently, and that's only because she's always done it. And it's just part of the culture of her account. So
I was like, I feel like that's outdated, but I need to.
You really don't need to. So if you're creating multiple pins for each book, then what I would rather you do is create a set of Pinterest pin designs. Let's say it's 50 different templates. That's 50 opportunities for every URL in your ecosystem. And then you could take one keyword with all 50 templates if you wanted to, and write 50 titles, 50 descriptions, the one URL, and schedule those out for the next however many weeks or days or months. And then you're just going to repeat that with the next URL and the next URL. Now, I was just working with an author client earlier this year, back in the winter, and she had like 12 book series that she's written. And every book series you can buy as a collection, and then you can buy each individual book in the collection. So when you start looking at the opportunities for URLs for someone like that, a well-established author, they're endless.
Okay, this was so much. I'm probably going to transcribe this and put this into a blog post on the Women in Publishing Summit website, and I'll send you the link so that you can have the link back and stuff. But thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. We had, so many questions about this because so many people just I wouldn't say forget Pinterest exists, but feel overwhelmed by the
They
thought
probably
of,
just do forget that it exists. Let's be fair. It's not a super sexy platform, but with the AEO, I think is what you called it earlier. I haven't heard it that way. I thought it was AIO, to be honest with you.
oh no. Yeah, GEO, generative engine
GEO.
optimization.
Okay,
There
so this is new news to me. With the changes on Google specifically, people are really not very good about change. So they're probably not going to be changing their search engines. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, right.
So
Some
they're still
people,
going to use
but
Google and they're still going to be stuck in this AI chatting functionality.
mhm.
And our search traffic is going to decline because of it, because we're just not going to have as many hits to our website from that chatbot. So this is the opportunity for people to just continue to diversify. I think it's more important now than ever to continue to diversify your traffic, choose your social media platforms, get your email list started, start your Pinterest account, and like it's just part of your new job.
Yeah, and I mean, the really cool thing nowadays, I would say, like, so many people are like, oh, blah, 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 the algorithms. But, like, I think it's actually really cool because as long as you are doing something that is more longevity based in what you're creating, it's evergreen and
Yeah,
you're making sure those keywords are in there, no matter where you're creating and where you're posting, it's going to get picked up by these search engines. You
yeah,
just need to have it, like I said, as a more longevity thing and not be stressing about how many views you got immediately. Like
exactly.
that's or
I'm
how
so
many
glad you said that.
followers you have because that's it, that's just like out the window now. Like
Yeah,
no one cares about those numbers anymore. They like it's you're getting discovered years later even. So it is the long game, but if you set it up correctly from the start, then
yeah,
you're good.
yeah. You can be, and I mean there are accounts that I still touch today that I set up for the most part about 5 years ago, and they're still doing the best out of all of the accounts that I've ever touched. So if you do set it up right and you start with a really solid Pinterest, um, SEO foundation with boards, with pins, over time it's just going to grow. I have so much free content on this, right? When like people could just go to the website and just read. My content manager keeps it all up to date for the most part. That is so cute. So yeah, just
Yeah,
don't be afraid to make
perfect.
mistakes. You're not married to anything. You can change it.
Yes. Okay, so everybody, if you were looking for some homework today, uh, head on over to Heather's website and find her free stuff and, see how Pinterest can work into your plans. I am attempting to not flash the internet right now with this crazy 2-year-old who is just crazy.
It is what it is.
Do you remember when your girls were that little?
I do. Yes. My crazy 10-year-old still comes into the room when I'm on live sometimes. And thankfully, the camera is like cuts her out because the bed. But she
Uh-huh.
never has pants on, ever. So it is
Yep,
what
my
it is.
my kid's the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all the same. Well, thank you so much for joining me in your
of
evening,
course.
and we will have to touch base on when you're coming
Of
back
course.
to the States. And yeah, thank you. Thank you
You're
so much
welcome.
for joining me today. All right, let's see. I'm gonna figure out how to end this everywhere. Let's see.